Now, I've uploaded 1,053 books to Amazon KDP, and in this video, I'll be sharing the truth about what actually works and what didn't, the things I wish I knew, especially at the start. I'll be talking all from my own personal experience. So make sure you watch this full video. Now, the first thing I want to get into your mind is that it's not a numbers game, that you do need to focus on quality. Don't believe the myth that you need to upload over 1,000 books to start making big money. I wasted the first 3 years of my Amazon KDP journey doing this, and I almost got burnt out and quit because of this. But there is actually a balance. You do need a good number of books to start seeing a consistent income. But on the other end, don't just think that you're going to upload 3 books and start seeing sales. It does take time. Your first couple of books, they're not going to be great. So have that right expectation that with each book, you're just going to keep on improving and eventually you will see some success. Now, I'm going to show you the first year of my own journey where I actually uploaded 694 books and I made roughly $4,800, and the majority of these books were actually low content books, and most of these actually never sold. So you can see here with my historical stats using publisher champ, and you can see here my total gross was $4,818.05, and my total spending was $346.32. Now, the highest month I had in my first year was December 2020, where I made $1,688.45. But especially in the early days, it was very difficult. It took me at least 6-7 months to make that amount in 1 month. But my first month, I only made $27. Then in my second month, I made $22. And then in my third month, I made $22 again. Then I saw a slight increase in September where I made $87.69. October, I made $60.35. And then in November, I saw another big jump as it was getting into the December, and I made $437.27. So that just shows you my early journey. I didn't make the big bucks right from the start, but it did take time. But I made sure that I was improving on every single book and doing the best that I could. However, if I compare this to my recent December 2024, where just one book alone made me over $12,000, and I had multiple days where the book alone was making me over $500. Now, the big difference was that one book was very carefully researched. It was professionally designed and targeted to a very, very profitable niche. And this gave me my current approach that now I create far fewer books, but each one is built to last, and it actually commands a much higher royalty. So those first couple books, yes, they did give me the initial traction and they helped me to build the foundations, and I kept on creating better books. But after I stopped wasting time and just creating as many books as possible, and I just stripped everything down and focused on creating far fewer books, that's when I started to have success. So don't waste your time creating thousands of books. Now, the next biggest strategy that had the most significant effect was that learning that research is the key. Now, most people would just go onto Amazon and create exactly what they like, not what the customers are actually looking for. So don't be misled. You need to be validating your ideas before even creating the book. Otherwise, you're just going to waste time and money. So making sure that you are actually using data to make informed decisions and you're validating your book. So what do you actually need to validate? That you need to actually think about your number of competitors, especially under your target keywords. If you've got over 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 search results that you're competing with, then that's going to be very difficult for your book to get onto that first or second page without spending a lot on ads. You also need to be looking and finding if there are low BSRs. because that is going to indicate that there is a strong demand for your book idea. As if you're seeing BSRs below 10, 50,000, then that indicates very strong demand. But if you're seeing BSRs of over 500,000, maybe a million, then that indicates that there's not enough demand around that idea. And you need to really consider, are actually new books making sales as well, or is it just older books that have been on the market for a long time? Because if new books aren't making sales, then your book is not as likely to make many sales. Now, one of the things that also really boosted my research process was actually finding that mix of something that I'm passionate about and that makes money with. So, for example, one of my top selling books is a logbook for businesses that I'm actually familiar with. Another is an activity in an area that I'm hugely passionate about. And this actually made the creative process really fun. I really enjoyed creating this book. And a huge part of that is when other people in the niche order that book, they really enjoy it too. So I do think to an extent that you do really have to actually enjoy the process in the books that you're creating, because that's going to keep you in the business long term. Third is a quiz book on a topic that I really know well. And again, I really enjoyed creating this book, and this actually helped me create a more engaging and unique content as I knew the topic very well. I knew what the buyers would want. So I was able to create something different than anything else on the market. So these are all areas that I'm interested in, or they have personal experience in, and they are very profitable niches. So I mixed that passion with making money, and I found that perfect sweet spot. So make sure you aren't spending thousands of hours trying to find this perfect niche. Just have a process that allows you to validate your idea and make sure that it does actually align with your interests and is backed up by real data. Another strategy that had a huge effect on my workload was actually focusing on my strength and learning to outsource the rest. So you can kind of fall into the do it yourself trap. And I especially did that in the beginning. I tried to design all my covers, do all the content, all the research, and it really just left me tired and burnt out. But the moment that I actually let go and just focused on what I was good at and looked at and actually found other people that were able to help me in other areas, then my results started to drastically improve. So I realized that actually outsourcing areas that I'm not great at had significant improvements. And if you look at any big brand in the world, they have a team. They don't have one person who's trying to do everything themselves, but they spread the workload. So know that you can't actually do everything yourself and do it well, but get other people and find other people that can actually help with parts of your business. For example, I've always said that book covers, they are a huge part of the business. And I always thought they were decent. But actually, when I hired people that were professional, that had been creating book covers for maybe 5, 10 years on Fiverr for just $10 to $15, it drastically improved my covers. It also actually saved me time. So instead of me spending that time creating covers, I actually was able to focus on the areas that I'm good at even more and create an even better book. Also, you really need to think about actually investing in tools as well. As free tools, they are great for when you are just starting, but they're only going to get you so far. I actually highly recommend investing in tools that are really going to boost your business. So tools such as ChatGPT, you can use them for multiple things such as research, keywords. You can actually even create engaging book covers and coloring pages using that. Ideogram is another fantastic tool that I actually use to create covers and interior pages as well. Then you've also got Bookbeam that I use for keyword research. So using these tools that aren't a huge cost each month have actually really helped to move my business forward. So you really need to look at your own strengths and weaknesses and consider where outside help can actually help and take your books to that next level. So this next point is hugely important, and it's a big reason why a lot of people fail. It's really down to learning learning to market your books, even if you are on a budget. I didn't actually start out spending thousands on ads. In fact, I actually started with a small daily budget, but then I actually reinvested my profits back into the business instead of going out there and buying luxuries. We can see using the historical stats again on KDP Champ. So my first month where I made $27.30, I actually spent just $11.40. Then in July 2020, I made $22.20, but I only spent $1.65. Then in August, I made $22.15, but I only spent $8.10. September, I only actually spent $2.46. October, I spent $10.60. November, where my royalties significantly increased, I spent $7.63. Then in December, I spent $53.34. So that just proves that I didn't spend a huge amount, especially early on. And you don't need to either at the start, but you do need to be using some smart strategies which work best. And one of my favorite strategies is the lottery ad strategy. It's just a simple, cost effective, and beginner friendly ad strategy that is just going to allow you to spend even just $2 or $5 a day in order to just give your books that little bit more visibility. And you're not spending thousands on ads every day, but you're just allowing your book to be seen by a few more people. And then hopefully, if your book starts making more sales, you can start reinvesting those ads back into your books. Now, one of the things that people get significantly wrong with ads is that they just think they are some kind of magic boost that's going to make your book be selling thousands every day. But it doesn't work like that. You really need to have a strong, solid foundation first. Even before you start thinking about running ads, you need to make sure that you firstly validated your keywords and make sure you are targeting the right audience. Then you've got a strong cover, as covers are the thing that make the first impression on your customer that'll actually make them consider thinking about buying the book. You also have to have optimized back-end keywords that will help the right customers find your book. And then on top of that, have a compelling description that will convince the buyers to actually buy your book. And then if you've got this type of foundation, then if you run ads, it's only going to compound your results. But ads, they're not going to magically fix a bad book. They're only going to compound the work that you've done, and you still need this strong foundation. And even if you don't have money to spend on ads, I've got various videos of how you can actually use TikTok to market your book and actually get it out to an audience. But you need to make sure your book is being seen by an audience. Don't just expect to throw your book on Amazon and it's going to sell. That doesn't work. Now, the biggest factor that's actually going to determine whether you succeed or you fail in this business is going to be perseverance, whether you choose to keep going in this business or quit. Now, there's going to be a lot of patience that's going to be required. As I've shown you, I did not hit the big numbers right away. It took actually many months before I saw consistent sales. So this isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's going to take you a lot of time. But that first sale for me, it actually changed everything. It showed me that this opportunity was real and this is something that I was able to do. It made me realize that this is actually a fantastic opportunity if I really tap in and focus. As with this business, you don't have to deal with any inventory. You don't have to do the shipping. You don't have to deal with customer service. You just need to create great books, and Amazon handles the rest. This is why I really stick with this business despite the frustrations and failures. I've tried many other businesses, but this is one of the most simplest businesses that you can start and succeed with. But factors that have actually helped me stay consistent is that I stopped listening to generic average advice. I stopped listening to people that they don't show you their results. They're just telling you what they think you should do. That's why this video, I made sure that it's actually on personal experience and things that I've actually done. I created my own systems based on data, experience, and results. I kept on testing, kept on improving, and actually saw every failure as feedback. And I made sure I kept learning for it. If I struggled with any part, then I would ask mentors, I would ask people their thoughts on it, and keep on getting feedback and keep on improving and keep on showing up. And that is how you're going to really get the results in this business. Anyone that has succeeded in this business has been working at it day and night. It's not an overnight success. But if you actually treat this like a business, you keep on learning from your mistakes, you keep on showing up, then your results can actually multiply to beyond what you would have ever imagined. So keep on going wherever you are. I've got hundreds of helpful videos on my channel. Make sure you keep on trying to learn, ask questions. Even if there's anything you don't understand, then drop a question down below in the comments and I'll be happy to help. But thanks for watching another video. I hope it was helpful.